Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Kevin Blakicki YouTube channel. And all I have to say is, we did it. We finally did it. Thank God we have won a gold medal in men's hockey for the first time since 1980 with the Miracle on Ice team. 46 years to the day. What an incredible game this was. This was one of the best hockey games that I've ever seen in my entire life. And it was a historical moment that I'll never forget for the rest of my life, and I will know and remember exactly where I was, much like a bunch of people will. I will always remember sitting in my seat in Colonial Life Arena, awaiting college game day and the Gamecock women's basketball team, who would eventually put belt to ass to Ole Miss, clinching yet another regular season SEC championship. And I was waiting in line to get to the arena, get inside to the arena, watching that third period, and it was absolutely amazing. There were plenty of times where I thought that the game was gonna end, or at least get a go ahead goal, and it never happened. It ended up going into overtime, and Jack Hughes, the American hero, with the golden goal in overtime against Canada, gave the United States the win and the gold medal. And for both sides, this is going to be a game you're going to remember for the rest of your life. Obviously, if you're American, you're going to remember it as one of your most cherished memories of all time. And if you're Canadian, you're going to look back at this game and wish that you could have it back, because they had more than enough opportunities to win this game, and they just weren't able to get it done. It seemed like there was a padlock or a brick wall on that goal, and that brick wall's name was Connor Hellebuck. You gotta give credit to him. He's always gotten a lot of flack for not performing in the big games, but in the biggest game of his life, he absolutely shut the door against one of the greatest teams that Canada has ever assembled. What a fantastic job by Connor Hellebuck. He had that great stick save. He had 41 total saves in this game. And you really got to give a huge shout out to all the U.S. goaltenders, both the men and the women. Maybe not Jeremy Swayman, but the uh the goaltending for Team USA hockey in these Olympics on both sides have been fantastic. And speaking of the women, this is the first time in Olympic history where the United States has won a gold medal in both men's and women's hockey. Shout out to both teams. Both of them had incredible runs and iconic runs, and they're going to be remembered for the rest of time. Now, for me, obviously, I wasn't born in 1980, so this is the first time I've ever seen the United States win a gold medal in hockey in a best on best situation. It's the first time I've ever seen them win a gold medal at all, really. And it's just a great day to be an American, and we have to address the current state of our country because everyone is at odds with each other. Nobody can agree on anything. There's good reasons why. But for a couple of weeks, and we weren't really totally able to escape it because there were athletes who were speaking out against Trump and the government, and the right wing was just freaking out about that the whole time. But at least when it comes to the men's hockey team, everyone was united. Everyone wanted to see them win. And it's probably the closest thing that we've had in quite some time to some sort of normalcy in this country, just rooting for the same team. Because, obviously everyone has their own teams that they root for. And, obviously the US is a divisive place right now. But it was nice to see that we were at least able to come along and come together for this brief moment and celebrate this team. And speaking of bringing politics into sports, we have to talk about why on earth the Team USA players were partying with FBI Director Kash Patel. Why would you do that? I mean, we're putting I mean, I'm gonna put politics aside for a second. You shouldn't, but at least for a second. You spend your entire life playing hockey and trying to perfect your craft and trying to make it and win at the highest level possible, and you achieve one of the most prestigious honors that you can as a hockey player, winning the gold medal in the Olympics, and your first thought is to celebrate with the director of the FBI, not your parents, not your, family, maybe your wife or your kids or your friends. No, you say, "I want to party with the director of the FBI." I don't understand this. Now, this is, obviously something that we've known. We've known that a lot of players on this team are MAGA and love Trump, and I'm sure that this team will get a visit to the White House and they'll be, sucking up to him and pretending like Trump isn't involved in one of the biggest child trafficking scandals of all time that would almost certainly topple the entire US government. But, it is what it is. You do also have to give them credit for honoring Johnny Gaudreau, aka Johnny Hockey, who passed away a while back. He was going to be a member of this Team USA team, and he wasn't able to compete because he passed away. He's killed by a drunk driver, and his family was there. They flew him out, and they held his jersey around the rink as they were celebrating. Having Jack Hughes just score the golden goal, and it was a beautiful moment. And then they partied with Kash Patel, and they immediately ruined it. But this was an incredible moment. These past couple days, rooting for the men's and women's hockey team against Canada, both games being awesome, both games going into overtime, and us getting gold medals over Canada in both of them are just chef's kiss. I think that these whole Olympics were fantastic as a whole. Paris was great in 24, so the Olympics have been killing it the last couple of years. Hopefully, the Summer Olympics in 28 are good in LA. I have low expectations for that due to our public transit, and the traffic there is just going to be insane. But hopefully, it's a good Olympics. But I mean, these games were amazing. I always like watching the Olympics. I always like, spending hours of my day just watching sports that I wouldn't normally watch and just rooting for my country and rooting for the best for them. So, anytime that, it's the end of the Olympics, it is kind of bittersweet, but it's always a good time. And I will say that even though that Team USA ended up winning the gold medal in overtime on 3-on-3, they have to change this rule. Why you're competing for a gold medal and it's 3-on-3 overtime for 20 minutes and then continuous periods after that is just absolutely terrible. It needs to be 5-on-5 for 20 minutes, just like it is in the Stanley Cup playoffs. I don't know whose idea that was. It definitely makes you feel a little bit better because all you need is a quirky bounce to go your way and you win the game. But at the same time, you could also get a bad bounce and end up losing the game. But I mean, hey, the haters are going to say that Team Canada should have won this game. They're not necessarily wrong. Uh, they had plenty of opportunities to score 42 shots on net as opposed to 28 for Team USA. Connor Hellebuck, you got to give him a lot of credit for being a stonewall back there. But they're going to look at they're going to look at the record books and say that Team USA won the won the gold medal in the Winter Olympics in 2026. in hockey and not Team Canada. So sorry that Sid the Kid wasn't out there due to an injury. That's not our fault. Yeah, if he's in there, maybe it's a different story, but we'll never know. Uh, But that does it for this video. Thank you for tuning in. If you're an American, give me a bunch of, USA chants in the comments. If you like this video, make sure you drop a comment. Tell me that you liked it. Tell me why you liked it. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you want to follow me on social media on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at Kevin Blakicki. Thank you for watching this video. Shout out both the men's and women's hockey teams for beating Canada and winning gold medals. And we will see you again next time.